We are a chosen people. From enduring 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow laws, civil rights, the reoccurrence of systematic racism, and the killing of our black brothers and sisters, we are a chosen people. A song once said, "We shall overcome," and thanks to pioneers like MLK, Marcus Garvey, and Claudette Colvin, we have come a mighty long way. And although we have quite a journey ahead of us, united we stand, and united we shall be. So to you as the viewer, I hope you enjoy as we take some time to highlight Black history. Good morning, Cavalier family. I am Ebony Christie, your student body president.
And I'm Lana Bailey, your student body vice president.
And welcome to our first ever virtual Black History Month assembly. We are super excited, and I hope you guys are also. So to start things off, the theme for this year's assembly is United We Stand.
Now, this might be a little ironic because we can only stand about as close as 6 feet apart these days, but it's because of COVID and recent events that we feel like it's especially important to support minority groups and especially the Black community during this time, which has been one of the heaviest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We thank you all for your participation and attendance, and we hope you are excited and enjoy the rest of this program. So to get things shifting, we will now take a listen to the Negro National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new days begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, Malachi, Ebony, and the Richland Northeast Band for those wonderful performances. Black excellence truly is and always has been alive and well. Speaking of Black excellence, how familiar are you with instrumental figures in Black history, past and present? Here are two you may not know. Sidney Poitier, a Bahamian American actor, broke color barriers in the world of film, starring in cultural phenomenons like the 1959 film adaptation of Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun and the 1967 classic Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. He was considered a trailblazer for refusing to accept stereotypical Black roles and was the first African American to win the Academy Award for Best Actor. Here in the present, however, Black excellence is now more than ever taking on the form of heroism, and Rob Gore is no exception. An emergency room physician at Kings County Hospital Center in central Brooklyn, New York, Dr. Gore was named a hero by CNN in 2018. He founded the Kings Against Violence Initiative, or CAVI, a program for his local schools and hospitals dedicated to diminishing the effects of violence in his young Black community through the lens of public health care. His work goes beyond borders as well. He's helping to rebuild northern Haiti's healthcare infrastructure in wake of the 2010 earthquake. Let us continue to recognize the incredible Black men that have shaped and molded our world for the better.
The Black Lives Matter movement has been supported by many. There have been many athletes who stood up for the cause. The first one that comes to mind is Colin Kaepernick, because of his bravery in taking a knee during the national anthem. From that one decision, he boosted the movement. Though he lost what he loved, he gained so much more. So to him and those like him who took a stand, we thank you. Now on to Tamaya for some HBCU facts.
HBCUs were founded between the years of 1861 through 1865. HBCUs were founded because Blacks were denied admission to predominantly white institutions due to racial discrimination. The purpose of HBCUs is to provide for the educational, social, and emotional needs to African Americans. HBCUs aim to provide a warm, encouraging, and exclusive academic and family environment. HBCUs also serve as an outlet for African Americans to make lifelong friendship, gain knowledge about their culture, and learn self-awareness. Now we will have some local HBCU performances by a dance team and Benedict Choir. HBCUs, building a sisterhood and brotherhood is very important because it creates a comfortable environment to meet other people who may be facing some of the same obstacles you are. It also gives minorities a voice and a purpose that they couldn't find anywhere else. Another way HBCUs provide inclusiveness is through fraternities and sororities, because before, HBCUs blacks were not welcome or allowed to participate in the fraternities and sororities, so they made their own to provide sisterhood and brotherhood in college. If you don't know what a fraternity and sorority is a brotherhood or sisterhood formed around common goals and aspirations. These are the non-historically black sororities and fraternities. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, founded in 1906 at Cornell University. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, founded in 1908 at Howard University. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, founded in 1911 at Indiana University. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, founded in 1911 at Howard University. Delta Sigma Beta Sorority, founded in 1913 at Howard University. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, founded in 1914 at Howard University. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, founded in 1920 at Howard University. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority, founded in 1922 at Butler University. Iota Phi Beta Fraternity, founded in 1963 at Morgan State University. With that being said, here are some faculty and staff to talk more about their experiences at a fraternity and sorority.
I'm a part of the first and finest Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated.
It's Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, but I'm also part of a national honorary band fraternity called Kappa Kappa Psi.
I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
I'm a part of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Anytime I'm with my paraphernalia, I meet another brother, it's always good. I mean, I can't say that for everybody. Simply because, you know, being in an organization is what you make it.
And so it doesn't even matter what chapter you belong to. Like, as long as you're a part of that particular organization, you are accepted and embraced. And that type of teaching and philosophy kind of goes out into into the community, into wherever you are.
And what I really appreciate about the D9 is that even though I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, I do feel support from all of the organizations.
One thing that I can say that I've told my the chapter members here, I'm not from Columbia, so moving to locations that you don't have any family from, the brotherhood becomes the family. So, you know, it's something special about knowing that wherever you are, that there's a brother that's somewhere in sight.
Thanks, Samaya, for that wonderful synopsis of how important HBCUs are within the African American community. In addition to the legacy of HBCUs, black businesses has also been a part of the essence of black culture. Throughout history, the source of black prosperity simply came from owning our businesses and educational institutions. Based on history, there is a 400-year generational gap between whites and blacks, and as a result of, black businesses have had to work tirelessly to create ownership and stability. From insurance companies, soul food restaurants, funeral homes, recording labels, barber shops, beauty salons, record stores, and bookstores, these black businesses were the most prominent. Local examples are Kiki's Chicken and Waffles, House of Hather, Azanka Kitchen, and Fat's Heads Barbershop. Not only did these businesses create prosperity for black families and communities, it developed a sense of pride and unity. We will now have a performance from Benedict College and Allen University.
what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Thank you to Benedict College and Allen University for those wonderful performances. Now, our next segment pertains to the idea of Black beauty. How many of you know that in 2019, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, Miss America, and Miss Universe were all Black women? This was a huge milestone for Black women across the world because historically, the pageant industry has excluded Black women and other women of color from participating. Beyond this, once Black women and women of color could participate, they often didn't receive the title. In continuation of this idea of Black beauty, we've had so many recent advancements in the Black community in terms of the natural hair community and complexion-inclusive makeup lines like Rihanna's Fenty Beauty. Though the natural hair movement did start in the 60s in tangent with the civil rights era, the movement really gained popularity in the early 2000s. It has taken over the YouTube and Instagram scene, inspiring Black girls to love themselves naturally. Tying it back to unity, the natural hair movement has united both Black women and men in terms of embracing our natural selves. Not only has unity taken place locally within our communities, but this movement of embracing different shades of color and embracing how we can wear our hair naturally has also transpired into the beauty industry. As a result, the power of love in terms of who we are naturally will pass on to future boys and girls.
Thank you, Leanna, and yes, the beauty of Blackness is truly eternal. And in the same fashion of the mighty men we stand on the shoulders of, Black history is rich with the stories of exceptional Black women. For instance, you may already know about Madam C.J. Walker, but did you know about Mary Ellen Pleasant? She was an entrepreneur and a self-made millionaire in the era of the gold rush, but beyond that, she was known as the mother of the California Civil Rights Movement. Her portfolio held more than real estate and stock. Because she took her lawsuit against the streetcar company for refusing her service and pursued it all the way to the California Supreme Court, segregation on streetcars in her state became illegal. Now on to a modern powerhouse, Corey Coco Gauff. As of November 2020 and at age 16, she is currently ranked 48th in the world of women's tennis and has played matches with the best of them, including Venus and Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka. She made a junior Grand Slam at her first US Open in 2017, and at the beginning of 2020, she held the rank as the 67th best tennis player in the world, period. She is an inspiration to so many young Black women and girls, and uses her platform to spread awareness and promote justice. To all Black women and men, especially those who have made history and who create change, you are seen and you will not be forgotten.
Greetings on behalf of the trustees, staff, faculty, and students of Benedict College, the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU. Thank you for allowing me to participate in your Black History Month observance and talk to you for just a few moments about the value of unity. Unity doesn't mean that everyone is alike or that we sacrifice our individual differences. In fact, it doesn't even mean that we all get along or agree all of the time. What it means is that we respect our differences and embrace our common ideas and purposes. Let me give you an example. We have often heard our country referred to as a melting pot. That metaphor generally means that we all come together from different places to form a single democratic stew. I don't necessarily agree with that analogy because when you make a soup or a stew, very often the individual ingredients lose some of their unique characteristics. I prefer to think of us as a salad. Each ingredient in a salad retains its own uniqueness. A carrot remains a carrot, and a cucumber is still a cucumber, no matter how much you toss the salad. However, despite the individual characteristics, each of the ingredients works together to create something that collectively is better than any single ingredient in the salad. Now more than ever, we are called upon to share our individual ideas and talents in ways that positively impact our communities, our state, and our nation. Acting in unity does not mean that we all think alike. A carrot is still a carrot, and a cucumber is still a cucumber. But it does mean the carrot is willing to work alongside the cucumber to make a great salad. I hope that each of you will commit to open yourselves up to a new idea or to reach out to someone who may be different than you. We have much to learn from one another. We also have much to share. Don't be shy about sharing your perspective or your ideas. Try something new. Commit to reading a new book or learning a new skill and then sharing that knowledge with someone else. Don't be afraid to listen to another perspective. Be willing to disagree, but never be disagreeable. Your thoughts and ideas are valuable, and if we can seek unity instead of separation, I am convinced that we can solve any problem. Remember, you are the future, and we're waiting for you.
Who was the slave that helped freed hundreds of other slaves?
Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, what was a famous speech spoken on the March on Washington?
When Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
Ding, ding, ding! So who is the founder of Black History Month?
I'm gonna just take a quick guess and say Malcolm X.
Malcolm X?
Yeah.
What city and state was Dr. Martin Luther King born in?
Atlanta, Georgia.
It's Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G. Woodson. All right.
Okay, now you know. Yeah. Who refused to get up from her seat on the Montgomery bus?
Rosa Parks.
Sure.
Well, what's her name? Claudette was the first one to do it, and then Rosa Parks did it after her.
You sure?
Yes.
Let me begin by thanking the leadership of Richland Northeast and Ms. Gamine Cherry for inviting me to spend a few moments of Black History Month with you. You may see this picture behind me of the first African Americans to serve here in Congress since the founding of the country. Now, the very first one was from Georgetown, South Carolina. He is in that picture. And last December, we named a room in this building on the first floor, room 150, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Joseph Rainey's election to the United States House of Representatives. And last week, we proposed, and on yesterday, passed legislation here in the House to name the post office in Georgetown, South Carolina, in honor of Joseph Hayne Rainey. And that's a little bit of South Carolina's contribution to the history of this country. But when we think about Black history, I want all of us to think about the theme that you are using for United States of America, a united community, a united student body. All that's important. And one of the best examples I can give you of that happens to do with the light bulb that you all are benefiting from there today. That light bulb, as you've learned, was invented by Thomas Edison, the most prolific inventor of his time. But as good as Thomas Edison was, he could not get the light bulb perfected. He needed help to get it done. And he heard about a guy named Lewis Latimer, who was living up in Boston, Massachusetts. Lewis Latimer was a black guy, the son of former slaves, who had invented a carbon filament that Thomas Edison felt if he could get that filament into his light bulb, it could work. And he went to Boston, met Lewis Latimer. They collaborated. They brought their two inventions together, and that's how we got the light bulb. It's one thing to have the light bulb, it's something else to make it work. The light bulb did not work until Lewis Latimer's invention was brought into it. And that's what we have to learn. And that's what Black History Month is all about. Making our history true and effective. And I can go through many other instances, but I would like for that to be your Black history lesson for 2021. Being united, bringing people together, irrespective of skin color, of background, irrespective of gender, benefiting from each other's experiences. That's what Lewis Latimer did, and that's what Thomas Edison did. They brought their two different experiences together. They benefited from those experiences. And although you may not know it, but it was Lewis Latimer that wrote the first book on electric lighting here in this country. He is one that came up with the way that we that lit cities like Philadelphia, New York, Toronto, Canada, London, England, all because of this son of former slaves. That is what we have to learn, that irrespective of what our skin color may be, we can make contributions, and we ought to get together, united, to overcome whatever the challenges may be. And that's what Black History Month should be about.
Hello, Cavaliers. I'm Brigadier General Biggs Beagle, the Commanding General of Fort Jackson, South Carolina. It is always an honor to speak to you, whether it be physically or virtually. Our youngest son, Jaden, attended Richland Northeast, and we're so happy that he did. Your reputation at Richland Northeast, your high esprit de corps and camaraderie were truly the best in the state. I was asked to briefly speak on United We Stand and what it means to me. I will do you one better. I will tell you and I will show you. For starters, I want you to remember three things. When you think of diversity, think of it as having a seat at the table. You all have a seat at the table. Just look around you. When you think of inclusion, think of it as having a voice. You all have a voice and you all have freedom of speech. Most importantly, when you think of belonging, it means having your voice heard. It is not good enough just to have a seat at the table, nor is it just good enough to have a voice. But not to have your voice heard is not to belong. Having all three is what makes us who we are. And your role in recognizing this is the key to our future. For Black Americans and many others of color, and even those of a gender that isn't male, diversity, inclusion, and belonging were not even considerations in our past. Our diversity as a society is our strength. Inclusion is our never-ending pursuit, and belonging is our daily goal. No one wants to feel left out, and everyone has something to contribute. Regardless of our roots, skin color, or gender, we are first, last, and always Americans. As many of you know, it wasn't always this way, and your military and your army was no different. During World War I, when there were considerations of integration of a Black infantry unit, the 369th Infantry, with the rest of the Army's fighting units, a common saying was, Black was not a color of the rainbow. The Harlem Hellfighters, as they were called, served on the front line longer than any unit during that time, 191 straight days in combat, and were awarded the French Medal of Bravery for their combat actions in Europe. Corporal Freddie Stowers from Sandy Springs, South Carolina, was the first and only Black American to receive the Medal of Honor for World War I. he wasn't awarded this medal until 5 decades later. Here at Fort Jackson, we honor him by having our single soldier complex named in his honor. And as for women, the 688th Central Postal Director Battalion in World War II was comprised of all black women. Their task was to sort and distribute mail that had been backlogged for over 2 years. They were given 6 months to complete this task. They did it in 3. There is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We are better as people, a society, and a country when we do things together. We are better when we recognize that we have more in common than we have differences. Skin color nor gender makes us different. It makes us unique. It makes us valuable wherever we go and in whatever we do. I learn something different every day from someone that doesn't look like me, sound like me, or think like me. My team is different, or as we call it in the Army, my squad is different, but this is our strength. This is what makes diversity so valuable. This is what makes inclusion so necessary, and this is why making everyone feel like they belong is so important. Many people have sacrificed to get us to where we are today. We are not perfect in many ways, but it is always about pursuing perfection. Pursuing perfection is your goal. That is the role that you will play in our society. My great-grandfather didn't have the opportunities that I have today. He came to Camp Jackson in 1918 as a new recruit. He served in units that were not allowed to fight in combat because he was black. When you look at him, he would easily pass for white, but he was classified as mulatto, or what we know today as a mixed race. He sacrificed being placed in segregated units and the harsh reality of being a black man in America. But if not for him and others like him, I wouldn't have been afforded the opportunities that I have today. To command the post where he wasn't allowed to mix with other races or to prove himself as an equal citizen, I wouldn't be able to see thousands of new recruits from all walks of life, color, religion, or gender live, work, and train together if not for the sacrifices of others. So if you ask me, what does United We Stand mean to me? It means standing on the shoulders of others that came before me. It means doing my part to recognize differences as strengths and not weaknesses. It means doing my part to make others feel like they belong. As an Army, we find our strength in our ability to bring together people of different races, cultures, and faiths who share common values like duty, honor, selfless service, loyalty, and respect. So I throw the question back to you. What does United We Stand mean to you? Will you do your part to unite versus divide, and to build versus tear down? I have faith that you will and that you can. Thank you, Richland Northeast, for the opportunity, and have a great rest of your day. Victory starts here.
Good morning, faculty, staff, and students. It has been a pleasure celebrating our 2021 Black History program today with the meaningful and relevant theme of United We Stand. This month was created to celebrate the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Black History Month should deepen our understanding of our nation's history. As we think about these contributions of African Americans, reflect on all that was given to our society during very difficult times. It's a wonderful time to step back and recognize the many gifts African Americans have brought to our nation. Let's reflect on a few names for a moment. Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., W.E.B. Du Bois, and Rosa Parks. How different our country would be without the leaders and the numerous fights for civil rights. They have helped us to learn more about strength and perseverance. They broke down barriers, they stood against injustice, they helped us all pull together as a nation and overcome the darkest days. These notable African Americans and so many others helped us to build toward a greater nation where people are judged by the content of their character. As I reflect on the strength of those great Americans and others who persevered through tremendous adversity, I think about the many opportunities we have to do great things as well. African American inventors, civil rights leaders, and many of our ancestors were able to overcome obstacles during their lifetime. Regardless of race, color, or creed, many of our ancestors were able to become inventors, scientists, educators, and artists without the wonderful educational opportunities that are available today. There were no iPods, iPads, Chromebooks. Some were not allowed or not even able to attend school. Yet they were able to make positive contributions to our society, and we are all reaping the benefits today. Now it's our time. It's our turn to learn from history with the intent of making the world a better place for our future generations. As we celebrate Black History Month to a close and bring this to a close, I want you to continue to reflect on a few things. Number one, what am I doing to make a positive impact on the world? Am I taking advantage of the opportunities that are before me? Am I taking my education seriously? Am I currently doing what I need to do to make my dream a reality? These are questions you must ask and reflect upon, and you can make a difference in the world today. Before I take my seat, I'll leave you with two quotes. Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations, by Dr. Mae Jemison, first African-American female astronaut. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Let us all work to be the light that drives out the darkness. If we work together, we can continue to make great strides to a better future. Again, on behalf of our Black History Committee and the entire school community, I would like to thank everyone for saluting and celebrating the great journey of African Americans. As we encourage and elevate the works of African Americans, stay uplifted and unite as we stand to promote equality for all mankind.
Black History Month isn't just about reflecting on our past, or a time where we celebrate the countless men and women that have paved the way for civil rights, but a moment to recognize how far we've come as a nation, recognizing that our differences bring us together under unity, because when we stand united, history won't have to repeat itself. I hope by watching this brief program, you too will understand the value of unity and do your part in ensuring this world is an equal place for all.